Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Connexia High Flyers. Friends, as all of you are aware, we introduce to you emerging companies from emerging sectors and make it a point to talk to the promoters and the top managements of such companies. And in this process, we come to know about their business model, their growth journey, their future growth plans. And today we are going to talk about another interesting company which is already listed on the capital market. The company's name is Indo Wind Energy Limited, and I have the privilege of having the promoter, Mr. Bala Venckat Kutti, with us.
Hello,
Mr.
good
Bala,
morning to
thank
all.
you for your time, sir.
Good morning.
It is my pleasure to host you. And sir, I am quite sure that in this small interview, we'll be able to understand about your company in a much better way.
Yes, thank you very much, Aviskarji.
Yeah. So, Mr. Bala, one thing which is very basic, which we start asking all the promoters, if you can explain to us, what is the broad business model of the company, what is the domestic positioning of our company, and how did you start your entrepreneurial journey in this business? If you could tell us briefly on this aspect also.
Okay. Way back in 1994-95, when I was traveling in Europe, I found these windmills when India was not there at all, anything, just talking. Then I got captivated. This is a simple model where, pollution free and it works on its own. And then it interested me. Then when we came back, we formed this company, Indo Wind Energy. And then we started looking at the options. The Muppandal was the best windy site in India. Then from we went to there to south. We bought some land, started our journey as a first India's first green power renewable energy, IPP. Because
Okay.
all other at the time were talking about government support, promotions,
Okay.
subsidies. But we took it as a IPP, and it all was challenging in the first few years because there was no certainty. People used to ask, will windmill work? Will it generate power and all kinds of things? Yes, as long as wind is there, only life is there, belief we were
Yeah.
advocating. So that it went on. They had a couple of 30 years of journey, then ups and down now and then with the policy changes. Nature plays its own impact. But by far, we have been, whatever we invested, 1.5 crore with the seed capital, first capital from my side. I'm happy that we have traveled a lot. We have come to this almost 300 crore net worth levels today.
Yeah. And I think nice to know that, Mr. Bala. Mr. Bala, now simply if I were to ask you, when you say you are into the IPV segment and you make windmill, so can we assume that basically you supply the windmill in the entire shape and form and give it to the final customer? Is this thinking right?
No, it is our business model is we are a power producer. We are not a manufacturer or energy things. So we buy equipment from other. We buy land. We promote like a wind farm, renewable energy farm. We buy
Okay,
equipment from all suppliers we have dealt with all over the world. And
okay,
our idea is to give energy to the consumers. That is the
okay,
primary. The
okay,
second objective is when so fully developed wind farm is available, we can onboard to the customer investors also. We sell the project to them, and
okay,
then we only
okay,
take care of the management.
okay. So basically, your main focus is giving energy basically to the final customer.
Yes,
That is what
giving
the business.
energy. Yes, and holding the
Okay.
assets in our kind of management.
Understood. Sir, in terms of customer base, Mr. Bala, who would be your customers be like? I mean, any particular corporate or any individual? How does what is the profile of your customers? If you could tell us.
Okay, when we started it, at that time it was only electricity boards were the customers. Our first one was the TNEB. Now it is called Tangerco. In our journey, first few, almost 10 years, it was only the electricity boards. Then we moved to Karnataka, Bescom. But after that, when the reforms started, the electricity boards were having their own financial difficulties in making payments in time. That is the time government opened up the open access and, group captive schemes for selling to corporates. Yes, it was a big shift, but we have managed to get around 50, 60 customers in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka state where we are operating. So now and
Okay,
then it's a good corporate, mid-size to large corporates.
okay. And sir, in terms of the pricing, when you get a new customer, how does the pricing work? For example, somebody comes and tells you that I want so much energy, from renewable. and you have a wind farm, or maybe you have the energy to supply him that energy, typically how is the pricing done for a private customer and for a government customer, if you could tell us?
Okay. For the private customer, it is basically his cost of power. Whatever is there they are paying today, they may have their own, electricity board power. Then they may have a DG set. They may have their other forms as well. So their pooled cost of power plays a major role. Plus the timing now. Recently, there has been a segment wise like a peak hours, normal hours, night hours. Such a things have come up now recently. So they will tell us this is my cost of power. So it becomes a challenge for us. I have to give him something better to make him interesting in the deal. As for, so it may be generally 5 to 7% saving because they also put their efforts into the paperwork. They have to cooperate and things like this. It's become like a win-win model from there. From a
Okay.
government side, it's are all fixed tariffs. Like they go by a originally a fixed price, now reverse bidding. So ultimately, it is a fixed price for 25 years, which doesn't favorably work. So we shifted to private because when the
Okay.
power price goes up, we need to increase our price.
Correct. So understood. Sir, one thing which I wanted to observe is that, we see that your operating margins are very strong. In fact, 35-40%. And in fact, it is right because selling power is a very profitable business. But what we have found is in the last 3-4 years, your top line has remained more or less similar. So, what is the reason scalability has not come? Because margins have improved quite well. I was seeing the operating margins now they are about 33-34%. So, sir, can we assume that in the next 2 to 3 years, looking at the kind of opportunity for power, we can scale up the business significantly in the next 2-3 years?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, yes, it's a one the capacity is set up, the PLF more or less same. It is based on the wind and the grid availability. It could be the production could change a little bit every year. And the margins are fairly in the industry 65-70%. Variable cost is only the operating cost.
Correct.
Thereafter, it is the financing and other things, depreciation. So you are right to that extent. Now the challenge is either power price has to go up for improving the operating margin, or the production to go up, which is very not possible unless we increase the scale. Or there could be other things. So capacity plays a role. Plus now
Correct.
there are a lot of options have come up like solar. So we have a lot of land banks. So we are also putting efforts not only operating profit, the profit after tax is our goal. We want to improve the PAT to the shareholders. So
Okay.
we are working on that, and adding capacities is one of the option.
Okay. Fine. And sir, just other related question. Since you are such a strong player on the wind side, any plans that you want to get into solar also? Basically, solar and wind go together. So, any possibilities in future, sir?
Yes, you are 100% right. Solar is also a renewable source. In fact, we want to do that, combine it. Now the state also has come out with the hybrid policy. We have a empty land around the windmill. So one way is organic cultivation. The other way is now solar is a big option. We can use the same service connection, meter, everything, the grid. So we are looking at optimizing. But now there has been a push for battery storage systems also.
Yeah,
So we are trying to
exactly.
make it is a little larger play involving wind, solar, as well as the storing the power and give it a continuous power.
Okay, understood. Sir, tell me one thing that, typically in our business, what is the most important value add which you give to the customer? For example, there are many solar and wind companies, but if I were to ask you, sir, you have been in this business for such a long time. Sir, what is the value add you give to our customers so that we get little bit of more repeat business, customers know us, and obviously, we are, at least from our side, are doing a much better job as compared to the others in the industry.
Okay, so the first factor is everybody, like a customer, winning a customer, it has to be a win-win deal. So we have to give him some attraction in terms of pricing. The second one is, it's a group captive scheme. Some of my customers are there for 25, 30 years now. So there has always been a competitors try to chip in and all that happens. So the second one is a value add is we provide them a full service. One officer is available fully for him anytime, any question, even the every paperwork, everything we do for them. So this kind of service gives an edge. Oh yeah, 2 paisa, 5 paisa different. Oh, I know Indowind well. The brand value has been built now continuously by supplying power. The other things is we tell them, okay, you feel like you're installing your own thing. Don't worry, I will give you one more project for you, set it up and things like this. You have a money problem, we could get you the money as a solution. Things like this. Also, we tell them try to understand their own business and tell them, okay, you want some investment in your core business to improve. I am willing to come in. So these are the ones makes us, strong bonding with the customers.
I think very nicely mentioned by you, Mr. Bala. Mr. Bala, now let's come to the financials. I think 25 was a slightly bad year, but again, first half of FY26 has been quite good for you. So tell us what actually happened in FY25. Revenue was down, profitability was down, but in FY26 first half, we have seen a PAT of 7 crores. So, how these 2 years are contrasting. What actually happened in 25 March? And in the first
Uh,
half, what is the reason for this improvement in profitability?
Okay. In your compared to FY24, it was a normal wind year. FY25, the whole industry accept that, the wind was less. So than the previous years. It is like in once in 5 or 6 years, such a thing can happen, nature. So it wind was much less than a normal year. So that was the primary reason. So we try to offset it by that is also one reason where solar we wanted to take up so that this nature's balance can be offset. And if you see it current year, the wind has been a normal year. So we are also added some capacity last year, small one. So it's still all this put together has given the first 6 months the better revenue and the profits.
Okay. And what is the outlook, even without sharing numbers, Mr. Bala? If you could say, because now we are in the month of November, what is the outlook you can share for the year FY26? Because almost more than 6 months have already passed. We have got 6 months data with us. So, do you expect this year to be also another good year that is ending March
It
26?
is definitely it is 100% good year, and we expect to improve from comparing to the previous year the bottom line figures, and we are also adding this capacity now. We are coming with the rights issue, so the money once it is in the place, we are going to add a solar capacity 4 megawatt. So that will also start generating and giving contribution. So we are expecting this year will be a better than the previous year, as well as the next year is going to be a much better because of the schemes what we are doing undergoing now implementing.
Okay, understood. And sir, normally, what is the working capital cycle in our business? One question which is added, which I think you can clarify for us, is that first 6 months also, profit is very strong, but operating cash flow, at least from the books which have been provided, are negative. So, if you can give us some clarification, from your side.
Okay, the first 6 months during the windy season the production happens. So what is happening is only the accumulation of the energy stock, but we have to give the customers a 12 months power. So we bank some of the power and the actual sales and realization starts coming subsequently. Since you ask me a working capital cycle, it is always less than 1 month from the day we raise the invoice to the customer. We get back the money in within that 30 days period. So now the regarding that operating cash flow, see our business core operating profit is always making positive. In fact, last year also it was more than 11 crore operating profit. There has been a some of the short term things, loans or things like this. Maybe it has played a role, but then operating positive is there always.
Okay, so basically, we can expect that by end of this financial year, that is FY26, operating cash flows will be positive. Is it?
It is 100% positive always. In fact, we are doing investing and financing more now. The surplus cash every year. Earlier, we were using it for repaying the loans. But now, as you see, we have become a zero debt to the bank's cover company. So the entire money, whatever is we are earning surplus, we are going to pay tax or we are going to pay invest into the new projects and
Right.
efficiency improvements.
One more thing which I think now you mentioned about tax, Mr. Bala, we were observing that last year as well as for the first 6 months, we have not paid any major tax. It is more of deferred tax. So anything on this, if you can clarify, please.
Because we had a earlier carry forward losses and as well as this change of system and
Okay.
all that has been wiped off now. Actually from March 25 we have paid the taxes. We are also merging one of the entity like 100% subsidiary by itself to make some tax advantage benefits, but
Okay.
current year also we have to pay tax, we cannot avoid it.
Okay, now let's come to the most important question, Mr. Bala. As you rightly mentioned, we are making a rights issue. First of all, sir, what is the rights issue proportion? What is the size of the rights issue, and where is the money going to be used? If you can please tell us.
Okay, we are coming about to raise about 49.5 crores or so in the rights issue, and majority of them is about going for a 4 megawatt solar expansion, and then we may use the balance something like 10 12 crore for other purposes like maybe acquiring a small project or investing into a new projects, making the preliminary works for a solar expansion in a bigger way. Because as I told earlier, there is a hybrid policy state has come out, announced, they started working. So we have a lot of land banks. We are looking at how to kind of take advantage of the land banks by all these measures. So we are even engaging a reputed consultant like a state government bodies to analyze and give us options so that we can go ahead with the more expansion. Regarding the balance money, as we all know, earlier we had promoter company, we had given about some 10 12 crore loan to the company to make it a debt free from the banks about 2 years back. So that will also get squared up. So overall, the expansion is happening now. Expansion and for a preliminary works for a future, more bigger expansions are happening.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to know, sir, what is the rights issue offer price and what is the rights ratio?
Okay, it is about rights issue offer price is 15.35 per share and ratio is one share for every four shares they are holding.
Fine, sir. Now, last question, which is very important, sir. Typically, you have seen COVID, you have seen a lot of ups and downs in the business. Sir, in this business, what is the most important risk for us? Like, typically, when we run this business, what is the most important risk you monitor every day, as of now, as a promoter?
Okay, what I monitor daily is whether the machines are ready up and running. So this is in our internally people are working, everything is there, and whether they have a sufficient small consumables materials available at the site. So this is from monitoring side. Since you asked me about the risk is now. Earlier, we used to perceive big one, but nowadays it is a policy risk I'm talking about. It underwent in the last 20 30 years, so many changes. But now the government has removed all the subsidies or any kind of concessions. Now the power price by itself is giving us the viability. So the angle now is we have to be more efficient, good quality machine for adding, and then we at the right price it is going. So the risk per se is only the wind that leaves it, or any major grid breakdowns, or the state government does something like that. In any cyclone happen, maybe we cannot access the site sometime. But they are all getting clear now. We are all very highways are very good. So we don't see that much impact now that 20 30 years of we are seeing this cycle. It may marginally affect something somewhere 1 or 2%. Even it gets resolved quickly. So as long as there is wind, we are there, no problem.
Well, I think very nice to talk to you, sir. I mean, please accept my best wishes to you, your entire management team, and sir, best wishes for your rights issue also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.